Okay, can everybody hear me? There we go. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. I'm so sorry. Back in the swing of DC Live, and what can I say? Sometimes the best test is not so great, which is why I'm happy to have my coffee to keep me happy and smiling as we start our show today. We have a great conversation. I've missed you guys. Good to see you. Kim, hopefully you can hear me now, and Chris, which I think you can. So thank you for joining us, everybody. I know that people have been excited to get back to these conversations, and we have great people lined up to talk to. Starting today, we have an amazing conversation with Marty Brooks and our friends from Milwaukee Strong. And I want to make sure that you guys have the information to join us for our future Wednesdays. Carmen Petrie is next week, Christine Hilmer from the Wisconsin Restaurant Association on the 19th, and of course, the so fabulous Jennifer Bartolotta on the 26th. So tune in, join us Wednesdays at 9. And I am so excited to get started this morning. So thanks again for joining us. Make sure to like and share so our friends can join the conversation as well. We are going to get started with Marty Brooks, who is the CEO of Wisconsin Center District. And I am so happy to have Marty join us. I'm going to bring him into the stream now and welcome him to DC Live. Good morning, Marty.
Good morning, David. Before we start, just to set things straight, why am I not so fabulous? Just Jennifer Bartolotta? I mean, come on.
Oh man, you are, trust me. And I have to say, I'm so happy you're here because what the first round of DC Live, you were at the top of my list and you remained there. So I really appreciate you saying yes. And I know that people are excited to hear, and I know you have a lot going on. So I'm grateful for you joining us. Thank you so much, Mr. Fabulous Marty Brooks.
There you go. Thank you.
Now, are you joining us from your office?
Yes. I've been in my office throughout the introduction of COVID, unfortunately, but we had everyone working remotely for a very long period of time. With the DNC loading in, because the convention's in 2 weeks, we did start bringing staff back into the office about a month ago. So we now have the full staff in the building, taking very extensive safety and precautionary measures to make sure everybody's safe.
Awesome. We're going to talk about those in a little bit too. But first, we're lucky to have you in our city, and I think that there's probably interesting things about your background that most of us don't even know. So in a real quick snippet of a nutshell, maybe some career highlights. I know you've had some great times at big convention centers and other arenas, but what brought you here, and how did you land in Milwaukee?
Well, what brought me here was a great opportunity with the Wisconsin Center District. When they were looking to fill the position of president and CEO, and I became aware of it, what really intrigued me about the position was that given my very diverse background in sports, entertainment, television, production, as well as venue management, the position as it was described and is really has allowed me to take the very different skill sets that I've been able to learn and experience in very different careers and bring them together literally under one roof of the Wisconsin Center District. I've been very fortunate to be working with some great people, certainly in Milwaukee, but very specifically at the Wisconsin Center District. I've spent 22 years working for Madison Square Garden, 11 years in Hartford, Connecticut. And then prior to coming to Milwaukee, I spent 11 years in St. Louis, first with the St. Louis Blues, the Scott Trade Center, and the Peabody Opera House, and then for 6 years with an organization that's called Explore St. Louis, which is akin to Visit Milwaukee.
Wow.
The difference in St. Louis is that Explore St. Louis also operates the convention center and stadium.
Wow.
So a really broad background. The one piece of I bet you didn't know that I'll share with you and would rather not get into in this because it'll get us way off track, David, is that for 3.5 years while working for Madison Square Garden, I was president of a company called Miss Universe.
Oh, I
In
love that.
1996, the determination was made that it didn't match the portfolio of other assets that the owner had. So we put the business up for sale. And at the time, I had hired Marla Maples Trump,
Wow.
host of the pageants, had the opportunity to meet Donald Trump in May of 96. And ultimately, in November of 96, we sold the business to Donald Trump.
Wow. That's so cool. I love
Who would
that.
have figured? Who would have figured back then?
Yeah, exactly. And who knew that that was part of your background? I love that. A fun little pageant tip. That's so cool. So, real quick, what's one, maybe, yes, you've got the wave.
I know the pageant wave.
My God, we're already off to like breaking news here. This is unbelievable. I love that. So, what's maybe your, if you could narrow it down to a favorite thing, or at least one of your favorite things about Milwaukee?
Oh my God. The people. Having lived in very different areas, this is the furthest west we've lived in the country. While everywhere I've lived, people are nice and pleasant, the difference with Milwaukee is the people not only are nice and pleasant, but they're genuine.
Yeah.
And we have been brought into so many people's homes when you were able to go visit people's homes, and brought into their families. And people are just very sincere here, and it's a very easy place to live. Quality of life is great. Winters get a little cold. I've never had a thermometer that I've been at show -20 before, so that was a big for me a year and a half ago. But it's really a great place to live, and
Yeah.
it's the people that make it.
It's so true. It is so true. And this is the other thing too that I think is interesting. You have a big job, and what most people probably don't realize is what the Wisconsin Center District all encompasses. We've all been to things at different venues, but probably most people don't realize that it's all a part of the district. So maybe tell us quickly what venues make up the district.
Sure. And the name Wisconsin Center District is really an institutional B2B type of name. We do not aggressively promote or market the Wisconsin Center District. What we promote and really want people to be familiar with are our three buildings, and that's the Wisconsin Center, the Convention Center, the Miller High Life Theater on Kilbourne, and then connected to that is the University of Wisconsin Milwaukee Panther Arena. We also own the property that's in between Wells and Kilbourne, which you will hopefully see in the next year. Construction beginning on an expansion that will really link that entire 6 blocks of city property
Wow.
all together.
Oh, wow. So, let's start with the Wisconsin Center. So, there are so many different kinds of things that happen here. Here's the iconic shot of the corner that I think most people recognize the building for. Something that a lot of people have probably also been to at the Wisconsin Center is the auto show. But what are some of the typical things? And I know there's so many different ones, but that could happen at the Wisconsin Center.
Well, we really offer a wide range of usage for the Wisconsin Center. The primary, the most active user are really people from out of town that use the Wisconsin Center specifically. We work very closely with Visit Milwaukee in bringing conventions and business meetings from outside the Milwaukee area into the city. The convention center really is a catalyst for economic development downtown. When we bring people into the city and they come to the Wisconsin Center for meetings and conventions, they stay in our hotels, they go to the bars, they go to the restaurants, they use the different services that are available, Uber, Lyft. And those types of events, as I've said, meetings and conventions, been a little slow the past couple of months because of COVID. Northwestern Mutual has hosted its annual meeting in our building every year.
Right.
We have a lot of educational programs that national associations have and bring to our facility. A number of other consumer shows that we have. We have the RV show comes to our facility. We have a home show. We've had the past couple of years a number of EDM concerts have been up in our exhibition space. And another space that you're very familiar with, David, and I love when I see your trucks outside of our building, is our ballroom. We have certainly the largest ballroom facility in the southern part of the state. And we host not only corporate events in there, but we also host nonprofit galas, meetings in there, weddings, any type of large party. And it's really incredible when you bring a company such as yours, Dynamic Events, into our facility, how you can transform what's already a beautiful ballroom,
Right.
create an entirely different environment for very, very specific events. That ballroom can be divided from seating as many as 2,500 people for a seated event down to 200 people. And that's really the beauty of what our facility offers. You can have a meeting for 50 people. You can have a meeting that's using the exhibition space, which is 188,000 square feet, for 6,000 people.
Yeah.
So it's very versatile. And again, with companies such as yours, David, it can be divided and decorated in such a way you could be anywhere in the world.
So cool. And we also have the Panther Arena, which to me is really cool to experience because I think I was at an Admirals game there, but it's definitely a unique place as well. And I think that I saw this event happening there, and I was like, "What on earth? This is the Panther Arena." So this is where a lot of things go down, and it draws so many big crowds for all different kinds of events.
Well, not only is it the home for the Admirals, it's also the home for UWM men's basketball. We also are a home for the Wave indoor soccer that have the defending national champions of their league. We also have concerts, comedy shows. You saw the indoor motorcycle racing. What's neat about that event is that in order for the motorcycles to get traction on the concrete, there's a layer of Dr. Pepper placed because the tackiness of the syrup makes great traction for the motorcycles. And it's very easy to clean off after the event. But one of the neat things that I've experienced in my short time in Milwaukee is about a year and a half ago, you had the Panther Arena, which opened in 1950 and was the original home of the Milwaukee Bucks. You had the Bradley Center still open and operating next to it. And then right next to that with the yet to be opened Fiserv Forum. So you had 3 generations of arenas that really, I took a number of pictures of it just because it was such a cool sight to see that part of the history of Milwaukee all at one time.
That's so cool. I'm going to show a little inside video of the Miller High Life Theater. Because I really think that a lot of people get so surprised. This is a very flexible theater. There's so much more to this building, but let's just take a look quickly at this quick snippet of video. And you can just see how you can go from 1,200 to 2,500 to 4,000. And it really is a curtain system. Is that right?
We are able to curtain off the balcony, which can make it intimate of 2,500 people. We can curtain off the area right behind the orchestra level, cutting it down to 1,250 seats. So it's a very versatile space. The main room of the theater itself. We then also have 2 smaller rooms, Kilbourne and Plankington. The Plankington room on the 2nd floor. We've had smaller, intimate acoustical concerts for 400 people up in that space. So it's a very diverse building, and also the lobby area, which we refer to as the rotunda, has hosted private parties. It's surprising to me how taken people are when they come into the Miller High Life Theater for the first time, because a lot of people haven't been in it, and they're impressed that behind this brick facade on Kilbourne is this really spectacular building that has fabulous acoustics in the main theater.
Yeah, it really is spectacular. I love that rotunda and the theater itself. It's, we're lucky to have these buildings in our city that offer us so many opportunities. And like you said, people from out of town and our tourism and visitors, they're just spectacular places. And we're going to talk more about your exciting expansion coming up. But, we cannot avoid what has certainly been at the top of everybody's mind, which is COVID-19, the pandemic that we're all working through together. And, I've read up on a couple of things that you said, I think in some printed articles. This is a nightmare that we're living. I think we can all agree on that. And something else you said, it's going to take months, if not years, for people to have the confidence to really come back and congregate. So, what is, I guess, how has this affected you in your professional life? And also just, it's hard for any of us to avoid how we feel personally, just because it's a heavy thing. It's a person in your role has to deal with so many things and so many people that it becomes, it's hard. So how are you feeling? How did this affect so far what's going on in your professional world?
Wow, you way to bring me down, David. That's whew. Um, it's been very difficult for everyone, and we're no exception. I think the hardest part of this was um, end of March, early April, having to execute the business decision to lay off some staff. We laid off about half of our staff because business, literally, in our revenue streams, not just business inside of the convention center and the theater and the arena, not only did that stop almost immediately, you also had the pipeline of hotel tax revenue and food and beverage tax revenue stopping. So we saw as most business did, this is by no means do I want anyone to feel sorry for us. We are experiencing what everyone else is experiencing,
Right.
no more, no less. But it's when you work so closely with people, at least I find that I develop a personal attachment. It's not just the professional relationship that exists. So that was difficult. We're at a good place at this point in time in that with the DNC moving in, we've been able to recall the staff that were laid off because we need to have all hands on deck to support an event of this magnitude for us. After you get through the emotional, okay, we've got to adjust what we're doing with the business because revenues are so dramatically impacted.
Right.
We then focused on, okay, but we're going to be back.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to make sure, most importantly, that when we are back, we're ready to be back, providing not only our staff, but every prospective attendee with an environment where they feel comfortable, where they feel safe. And studies have been done, and the two most important factors for people when they decide to go to a public assembly facility is, are they going to be safe and is it going to be clean?
Right.
I think cleanliness may now have leapfrogged just by a bit the safety aspect, meaning from a security standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Safety and cleanliness are tied together as well. But we've been very thorough in developing two plans. We developed in consultation with an industry leader, CAA Icon. We brought them in to work with us and help us identify areas that we needed to address for both public and private parts of the building. And we developed two plans we call phase one and phase two. Phase one was to get the administrative space, the back of house space where staff will be, clean, disinfected, and as best we could, virus germ free, and then establish protocols moving forward so that once the staff came back into the facility, they would feel safe in our cleaning procedures, in our social distancing, how we've addressed conference. We've reduced, we've taken out half the chairs in every conference room and meeting room. We've taken out the tables and chairs that were in our break room. We've got stickers around the 6-foot social distancing stickers. We're limiting the number of people that can be in the copy room at a time. Cleaning the restrooms regularly, and we've now posted timesheets when they've been cleaned to check off who's cleaned them so that we verify that they have been cleaned. Prior to the DNC coming, we had already implemented, we had closed down any entry door other than the employee entrance door to ensure that everyone was coming in who came into our building had a health screening, temperature check, and then got wristbanded so that we knew that they had been through and could work. Those procedures have changed more so, and we can talk about this later when we talk about the convention. They've gotten even stricter with the DNC. But then moving for the front of house, we've invested a fair amount of money, again, as most businesses have, in purchasing additional cleaning and sanitizing equipment so that we can make sure that after a meeting we go in, we can spray it, we can clean it, disinfect it, so that all surfaces have been cleaned and any germs killed. We've also gone around the facility. Most of our restrooms were already touchless as far as
Right.
faucets and paper towel, but we've also gone around in any door that otherwise you would have had to turn a handle. These are interior doors, not security doors. We've now put in a plate on the foot of the
Right.
door where you can pull it open with your foot, so you don't have to touch. We've really been very diligent in identifying touch points and trying to minimize touch points that people will encounter when they come into our facility.
I think that's fascinating, and what you say about addressing people's comfort level, in addition to the safety and sanitation, makes such a difference. And do you agree that these are probably things that will live on past this? These types of things like the door, foot panels, and the other touchless types things. I mean, to me, it seems like those will always now be in your venue.
It's the industry is really taking a hard look at this and changing the way current facilities are laid out and designed or operated. But what's a great opportunity for us is that as COVID really became the virus that has affected our country in March, I reached out to the design team that we've been working with for the expansion and said, guys, not that we have to take this design and change it. We just have to go into the design now and really look at it with this in mind, because COVID-19 is today's problem.
Right.
We will see something again that we need to make sure, not that we can think of everything because it hasn't been
Right.
yet, but we can do more touchless. We can do things with doors so that we've eliminated touch points. The way Levy Restaurants, who's our food and beverage provider, handles food, you'll see that in all facilities moving forward.
Right.
The day of an open buffet probably has changed. The day of self-serve buffets or break stations probably is changing, at least for the foreseeable future.
Right.
We have an opportunity with the new building to make sure that it's designed to accommodate this. And what you also see 10, 15 years ago, buildings being LEED certified was really what people were looking for in new construction. Now it's something called GBAC, which is biovirus, and so that's a new certification that we're pursuing at this point, and many facilities will be doing. Just, David, in our business, where we're reliant on people coming to our facility, whether it's a public event or a private event, we must instill that when people come here, they're coming here in good conscience, without fear or reservation. And we're not perfect. We will have problems that we will have to deal with, and we will be judged by how we deal with those problems. But I'm representing to you and everyone that we are doing everything we can. We are maintaining communication with the CDC. We are looking at industry best practices, and right now are a part of creating industry best practices.
Right.
What COVID has presented us is uncharted for everyone.
Yeah, it's so true. And it's really interesting to learn about some of those new certifications too. And it's at a certain point, it's neat to be in a position with the expansion project that is coming up in our conversation, that you can address these issues right now, which is great too, moving forward. So just the last piece about COVID, because it is certainly important to our city. How are the projections for Q1 of next year looking? Are we still looking at cancellations? Are things on the calendar? What does it look like?
Well, the timing of this question is pretty good. We had our first budget meeting for 2021 last week, and while I'm a bit more conservative than I think the staff that I work with at times, they're very optimistic. While we've lost virtually everything for the balance of 2020, I think we have 8 events remaining between now and December 31st. Q1 is not as chock full of events as it was in 2019 or even the start of 2020. But as we get into February, March, April, May, we're finding it ramping up. At this point, we're projecting that we could be, I'm not, I hope my board of directors isn't watching because they're going to hold me to a business plan that I'm not representing, I'm offering them right now. But we're looking optimistically that we could be at 70 to 75% of where we were in 2019, which was a great year for us. So
Oh,
that's, I want to be at 115% of where we were in
yeah,
2019. But I think realistically, if we can be close to that level, 2021 will be a success. And
right,
we're optimistic. People do feel confidence that in 6 to 8 months there will be a vaccine. People will be able to socialize. Um, Virtual events, I think, will still be a large part of live events on the convention and meeting side. But David and I'm sure Gary Whitten and Matt at Paps Riverside would agree, there is nothing like experience an
mm,
event in person. So
right,
as wonderful as the technology you and I are sharing right now is, it doesn't replace the group bonding of what takes place at any kind of event. So
right,
I'm confident that it will improve as part of the expansion project, which might be a good segue for you at some point soon to talk about. But as part of the expansion project, we had to do an economic feasibility study, and it,
yeah,
it had to be provided late March, early April. And then in June, we restructured some existing debts. We had to get it updated, and it was done by a third party we had contracted. And their belief was, or is, that it's going to take 18 to 24 months for the hospitality industry to get back to pre-COVID.
right.
So if we can get to 70% in 21, that's encouraging for where we could wind up at the latter part of 22.
Yeah, it's definitely encouraging to hear for sure. And we know that probably, you know, that the upcoming election will have something to do with response and things getting back one way or another. But that's great news to hear that there's definitely some forward movement. And I think today marks, Marty, maybe 11 days until the DNC. I'm pretty sure either 11 or 12 days. But anyway, the DNC happening now, primarily anchored at the Wisconsin Center. That is exciting. I know many people, some of their hopes and dreams were dashed around the DNC, but you know, we're still happy and excited that something's happening, and it's happening in such a great place like yours. So this has now become called a convention across America, featuring speeches and events from other cities, with Milwaukee anchoring the proceedings. So people are moving in, right? Things are happening.
The event started moving in a week and a half ago. Production starts moving in later this week. Um, and fencing went up around our parking lot because that will be one of the two media compounds. Um, there is a flurry of activity going on inside of our building, and David, certainly the convention has taken a different um, will be presented very differently than what was anticipated. But I guess I'm a glass half full guy. You put up the graphic and it showed Democratic National Convention Milwaukee. We couldn't pay everything that everybody collectively had in their bank accounts within the region and buy that kind of connection. So it's going to be everywhere around the world leading up to and during the week that it's here. So yes, it's understandable that people feel that we're not going to be as satisfied or exploited the way we otherwise would have been.
Mm-hmm.
Can't argue that. We still have a great opportunity to showcase Milwaukee to the world. And I love Milwaukee. And I think that when people come here, the few that will come here, not the 50,000 initially, but the
Right.
thousands or so that come here, they're going to take back a great experience. And then people around the world will see and be written about a great experience that people are having in Milwaukee. So I hope we can put behind us the opining over, oh, gee, what shoulda, coulda. Well, you know what? This is what it is.
Yeah.
Let's make the best of it. And gosh darn it, this is a great place to work and live. And we need to support that and show that around the world in 2 weeks.
Yep. And it's like you said earlier, you know, one of your favorite things about Milwaukee are the people. And that is the opportunity that we all have, is to be those genuine, great people. Take care of each other, mask on, be safe,
That's right.
and
That's right.
really show how respectful and fun we all are so that Milwaukee does get that time to shine. So I'm on board with you, Marty, for sure.
Well,
Um,
and David, I know that you would have seen a lot more activity for yourself, and so it has affected you professionally and personally. But I really do hope that you will be a champion for what the convention still means to our city, because it means a lot.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I am the first one that is excited to see what's happening and to still be super excited and to be the biggest cheerleader because any positive effect that each one of us as individuals can bring in any way is going to be super great for our future. So I definitely agree. What inside the space? What's kind of the plan? How are they using the space?
Well, it's been an ever evolving plan, and they're still determining how different spaces are going to be used. Right now, we've got the first part of our ballroom space you're familiar with is a COVID testing area. Um,
Okay.
Everyone who enters the building has to have a COVID test the day before they expect to enter the building, and then every day thereafter. So we've been tested every day since Monday of last week. We
Wow.
continue to be tested every day. And we get a notice. Last night I got a notice that I've been cleared to come into the building today. So one area is for COVID testing.
Okay.
That's everyone, whether you're working the event or attending the event. We've got the actual convention floor for where the convention will be hosted from is halls A, B, and C on our exhibition level.
Okay.
There are production offices and D&C offices on the in Hall D, the balance of the expo floor, and then all of the meeting rooms on 1 and 2 will be offices for the presidential nominee, different caucus groups, and the D&C and the local host committee.
Wow.
Media is they'll be using Ballroom D for quick recaps every night. And a big space that you'll see a lot of activity on is our surface parking lot.
Oh,
They started putting up tents. That's where the networks, the news and broadcast networks will have spaces. And then along Kilbourne will be an area where the different media outlets, domestic and international, will have stand-up areas so they can do their live shots back to their local markets or national base of operation.
oh, cool. So there, the use of space is everything inside, outside. So there'll even be some activity to see. But that's one of the best parts is that I really think that how the city and especially downtown lakefront area is shown on broadcasts and people watching around the globe is definitely going to be a highlight. And it's good to know that what you said. I was listening to the mayor's COVID update, and the testing is really good to hear because he was talking about that too. That whether you're working or attending the event, the COVID testing is rampant and always. And I know that you guys are practicing inside the building, like you mentioned, social distancing and like you put on before your mask wearing. So that's great. And I bet it is fascinating to see in the building all the things that you've seen before, from pageants to the like. I mean, I bet this is fascinating to see and will only get more and more exciting as the days go on.
It will be a big production for our space. I've been a part of some big productions, but what I think I'm most enjoying, and sometimes enjoying, there can be a sick side of enjoying, is this is a very fluid event that
Yeah.
normally planned a year and a half in advance and is very regimented. This whole plan has been thrown up in the air, pages coming down and being pieced together as we speak today.
Yeah.
So to see groups of people working together, sometimes maybe a little rough and tumble, but everyone's goal is the same, and that's to put together a great event for the people in Milwaukee as well as the people around the world viewing it and participating in it. So it's just a great, you know what it takes to put
Right.
event on of any magnitude. It just takes teamwork. And
Yeah.
you've got a lot of people, not just the full-time and part-time staff that we have that live here, but you've got people from all over the country coming in who are the
Right.
specialists for the DNC who we're meeting for the first time and now entrenched on the front line with them. So
Yeah.
it's just this event certainly is one for the resume, but doing it in a COVID environment just takes it to a whole new
Wow.
level for everybody.
Wow. Well, I can say on behalf of all of us in the industry and in the city that the confidence we have in you to be the leader of the pack from our perspective is huge. And we are super grateful that you're the guy who's pulling those teams through. And it's exciting to even see from the outside, and it's great to get your perspective from the inside. What about, I've been curious about security only because it's come up a lot in the news, especially. There's been different police forces and different people saying things about not wanting to be a part of the security force for whatever reason. But I'm just curious, not from a political standpoint, but more so from your leadership standpoint, is the security aspect something that you're involved in as well?
Well, the building is involved in working with Secret Service and working with Milwaukee Police in making sure that we're cooperating with them, we're providing them with concise information because no one knows the building and the area around us better than we do. So Jeremy Ott, who's our Director of Security, has been embedded with Secret Service for a year. I think one of the things, David, that a lot of people don't realize that I've had colleagues and friends call me and say, "Hey, you got the DNC, that's great." Well, the inference is we got it because of COVID and it's not going to be at the Fiserv Forum. Well, we were part of the bid process that got Milwaukee the convention to begin.
Right.
Our contract to be a part of the convention was signed before it was even announced. So we've been involved all along. Our role has changed. But as far as security, Secret Service takes the lead on that, working hand in glove with the Milwaukee Police Department. The one thing that I don't want to say is the benefit, but is significantly different with the convention moving out of the Fiserv Forum and taking place in our building, is that the secure perimeter has been reduced.
Right.
So I know initially there was an uproar and concern of what's going to happen in the city. The impact to streets and alleyways for deliveries is going to be very limited, and it's really to the couple of blocks around the convention center.
Right.
There are certain security precautions already in place. I can't divulge with you what I know because if I did, it would no longer be secure. But packages and trucks are being screened well away from property so that we can ensure that only the appropriate personnel and vehicles and deliveries are coming onto the
Right.
property at this point.
Yeah, that's just a whole nother fascinating layer to all of this. And I'm hoping and praying hard that we have a safe couple of days and people stay level-headed and positive as possible. But I know that the bottom line is you can't say it, but people will be watching.
Thanks, David. That's already. Thank you.
Oh man. So now this is so great. I have been cheering this on forever. And I know that there's been a roller coaster of emotions around your expansion project. But Marty, wow, this is the real deal. And if there's something for us to look forward to, it is this. I'm so excited.
Well,
Tell us the highlights.
I feed off of your enthusiasm. I really do. One of probably the signature piece of the expansion is the addition of a 32,000 square foot ballroom on the rooftop of what will be the expanded exhibition level. We've developed a space so that we'll have outdoor patio space, green space on the roof. Solar will be a part of the architectural design, and it's in the image that you're showing, David. It's the area that's at the lower right side is the rooftop of the expansion, and
Yeah, I think I have a better picture too.
It's so the number that is the second level of the third level. That's
Okay.
That's the expo hall. We're
Okay.
adding 120,000 square feet of exhibition space, which will take us just over 300,000 square feet of total exhibition space. And what's really been part of the design strategy from the beginning was we wanted to create an expansion that was inviting. A lot of convention centers, when they were built 20, 30, 40 years ago, they were more built to keep people inside. When convention attendees, meeting attendees, and the planners wanted their people to stay inside, not go out and spend time in the city, because that was counterproductive to bringing the exhibitors on the floor. But people want to experience whatever city they go to. So there's a lot of glass in the front of the building along Kilbourne. The entire wall, the north-facing wall of the expanded exhibition center, is glass, and that will present a very unique opportunity for people who are on the exhibition floor. You usually don't have natural light coming in.
Right.
Have a great view up north to see the Panther Arena, then the Fiserv Forum, and the whole Deer District. And then on the roof of the building, just spectacular party space that we hope you will have many, many events in. We're adding 24 meeting rooms. I said 120,000 additional square feet of exhibition space, 400 plus parking spaces, virtually doubling the size of the existing space. And what's most important to understand with this is, while we certainly will be able to go after bigger conventions, the fact that we'll be a bigger space, the real opportunity for us, and with COVID, it's even more important that we're doing this, that we're going to be able to do more events of the same size simultaneously and overlapping. I mean, right now, bringing people in for the hotels and restaurants is the basic premise of why we exist and why Visit Milwaukee exists.
Right.
So the issue we've had for years is, how do we get more hotel rooms booked? But when you have a convention that's using the whole space, it's 4 days to a week to load in, 4 days to take place, 2 days to load out. And during that 10, 12-day period, you've only had convention attendees in 4 nights.
Right.
So being able to have events either simultaneously of the same size or overlapping, we're going to be able to take that same 12-day window and hopefully have hotel rooms booked for 10 of those 12, 11 of those 12 nights. So and for you, it's now, right now, if you have a client that wants to do an event, but our ballroom's booked,
right,
if it's that big of an event, you have nowhere else to do it at that period.
right.
Now you can do 2 events on our property at the same time.
Yes. And
which we want.
I want that too. And the cool thing about it is, I really, want viewers to realize that doubling the square footage of your current facility, like you've been describing, is doubling the possibility for so many other people and businesses and revenue streams. That is so incredible. And within the facility, like you said, I just can't get over how beautiful it looks. And so to me, it's like the opportunities are incredible, because there's outdoor, there's indoor, there's windows, there's there's so many different ways. And what I love, me, is it looks unexpected. So we're not going to be the humdrum convention place, which is cool. And I love this. You said about the expansion project, we want this space to build inclusivity, experiences, memories, and momentum to drive economic impact for our great city. Let's make that a billboard, okay?
Well, we wanted to come up with a slogan or a logo that could really encapsulate what we're doing with the expansion and the impact we think the expansion will have on the city. And it starts off with building more, and then we have 20 to 30 building more diversity, building more jobs. I mean, the economic impact, the construction of this project alone, of which we've agreed to have local minority participation, local employees, it's $100 million in wages just for the construction of this project. $100 million. And the majority of that money is going to go to, if not Milwaukee City, Wisconsin residents.
Wow.
And that's just for the 2 years in building the thing. Then, as you've said, by having more people in town, we're going to need more restaurants, more bars, more hospitality, more hotels.
And Marty, this one project is, I know it's not the only, but it is a reason for us to hunker down and for small business to do whatever we can to just hang in. There are opportunities and amazing things in the pipeline. We just gotta help each other, support each other, stand by each other and with each other to hang in, because there are opportunities like this that are coming. What is the expected kind of groundbreaking date now? Is there anything tentatively set?
We had hoped prior to COVID to be breaking ground March of 2021. We've had to slow that down a little bit, although our board in April, during the COVID pandemic, gave us the authorization to move forward with the expansion. It was a real milestone that the board gave us that kind of support. We do have to go back to the governance committee and show them, when we have it, a viable financing plan, which we're working on. My hope is that we'll have that plan finalized in the next several months and be able to issue bonds by the end of this year. Groundbreaking probably is September, October of 2021. But we're still optimistic that it's going to happen. In fact, we're putting window clings as we speak, overlooking the parking lot where the media will be, of renderings of what the convention center will be, because we want to take the opportunity to show the world, look what's coming. And David, just one last thing about the convention center expansion. Understand that we're financing that through debt service that the Wisconsin Center District will be taking on. We sought to get money from other sources, unable to, and that's understandable. So we will be funding the project through tax revenues that we're already collecting from the hotel tax and food and beverage tax. And those taxes are primarily paid by visitors to Milwaukee. So this is not a project that, by the way, the project is shovel ready. We're ready to go as soon as we get the financing to get those construction jobs hired. But this is all monies being funded by people who come to visit Milwaukee, and that just helps us get the project to move forward, because we're not relying on a grant from any one entity.
Right. So great. It is so exciting. And I just noticed during our conversation, I love your lanyard. Be bold, be proud, be experience obsessed. That's so awesome. I love that.
About a year and a half ago, I went in front of all of our employees, because this organization and the people prior to me worked hard, did a really good job. But I just bring a different perspective, and looking at the staff and looking at how we've conducted business, we were missing some things. And what we really needed to do is get the staff behind who we are and let them know how much we appreciate what they do and how important their role is in executing whatever the event is. And we took this CEO vision, which is great corporate mumbo jumbo, but boiled it down to these three pillars: to be bold, be proud, be experience obsessed. We live it. It's what I use as a criteria when making any business decision. And it's how we want to interact with our guests and our clients. Be bold, be proud, be experience obsessed. We are not ho-hum.
I love that. And you know what, Marty? I'm telling you, I have had the pleasure of being next to you on a panel. I've, certainly seen you at community events, but I really haven't had the opportunity to have a conversation like this. And what I love about it is that, you can talk about COVID, you can talk about the DNC, you can talk about the expansion, but what I love about conversations like this is that the examples of your leadership style and your commitment to things about philosophy and mission and treating people is, to me, just so important to get out there, because it's just something that isn't always known about a leader like yourself. And I think the impact of that is huge, not only for the people that work for you, but for the community to hear from you. So I am inspired this morning. I love everything, especially that you can pageant wave. And yes, but honestly, thank you again so much for this conversation. I know that there's so much on your plate, and there's so much to be excited about at the same time. I know the DNC, the expansion project, so many things. So, Your leadership is inspiring. The work that your team is doing is hugely appreciated, unbelievable. And I cannot wait to see how things move forward, not only in 11 days, but so far beyond with this project coming forward. So, my friend, fabulous friend,
Thank you. Good.
thank,
Fabulous.
yes, yes. Thank
David,
you so much. This
my
has really
pleasure.
been a pleasure.
Look forward to having you in the building again, David.
I can't wait. I cannot wait. So good luck. I'm going to cheer you on with this DNC. I know you guys got it, and I cannot wait. So thank you for all of your efforts. All right, Marty, we'll see you later. So,
Bye.
bye. This is so cool. So we have so many things to be excited about in our city. That was a great conversation with Marty. And one of the things that I have become obsessed with in the last couple of days is this amazing Milwaukee Strong project. So I'm going to bring our friends into stream to join us. And we are being joined by Kevin Suker from 88.9 Radio Milwaukee, and also the amazing David Lee, who is the CEO of Imagine Milwaukee. Hey, guys.
Hello. Good morning. How are you?
Oh, good, 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 good. I am feeling great, and I am so happy you guys are here because I'm literally obsessed with your project. So thank you for taking the time.
We are so excited to be here. You can tell with Kevin because he changed his angle on his camera, and you can see the guitars and stuff in back.
It's such a better look than the old angle. You know, you have to change the angle every once in a while to make the room seem a little bit more appropriate.
Yes, and we are ready to rock and roll. So here's the cool thing about this, and hopefully I'm going to show a clip in a little bit for viewers, but I know a lot of people have viewed this music video, but the song and music video, Milwaukee Strong, was released on July 24th, so not too long ago. And the mayor issued a mayoral proclamation declaring Friday, July 24th, 2020, Milwaukee Strong Day. That must have been such a cool thing for both of you and everyone involved. Was that just an awesome day or what?
It absolutely was. I think you grow up sort of dreaming that you'll have a day sort of named after or proclaimed after a project that you've done, and to have it actually proclaimed after a celebration of our city's heroes, everyday people who are working so hard to get us through COVID-19, and also the artists, the 30 or so artists who contributed their time, talent, and treasure to create this song, was just such a treasure and such a lovely gift that the city made for us.
It was amazing, and as Marty said moments ago, and our friends over the Paps Theater Group also feel, you know, creatives and concerts and music as we know it, the things that we like to escape from reality, were the ones that were decimated. You know, we all have been equally touched by the pandemic that we're going through, but music in particular has been decimated. So when we were approached by the mayor's office to think about a project like this, you know, we thought this would be a really great opportunity to not only help, you know, unify the city, but also to create something for the creatives that they could potentially benefit from. So we were very honored to be approached.
Yeah, I love everything about this. I'm gonna, for a second, hide you guys in the stream and bring up a clip of the video. One of my favorite clips from the video for people to see. So hold on tight. I'm gonna get this in here, and then I'm gonna hide you guys, and I'll bring you back. So hold on 1 second while we get here for people to see it. Not me. All right, let's play this clip.
The fire through the rain. Our tomorrow will be a better day, 'cause we are proud of what we know. We are the good land, Milwaukee Strong.
We are the good land, Milwaukee Strong. Yes, I love that. Now tell me about your project partners. I know it's obviously 88.9 Radio Milwaukee, Imagine Milwaukee. Who else was involved?
We reached out to an amazingly talented songwriter and producer who's played with some of the largest artists on the planet: Mary J. Blige, John Legend, Lil Wayne, a young man by the name of Sean Hinton, who's a Milwaukee staple. And we came to him with the idea and said, hey, we'd like to help amplify the creatives in our community right now. Is there a way that you'd be interested in creating and writing? And he wrote and produced the song. And our team over at Radio Milwaukee, Brittany Freeman Farr, who you saw in that clip at the end with the muscles.
Here she is.
I know.
I love her.
She's so great. There she is, right there. She runs our Grace Weber's Music Lab program, which puts her very, very aptly into the creative community. And she reached out to the musicians around our city and made it all happen, which was amazing.
That is so cool. You know, one of the things that I love about watching this, and I don't want to seem weird, but I've literally watched the video like every day a couple of times, because it's like we're at home. You know, it's not every day there's great news. So I listen to this because it is so, I mean, I just want to read one part of these lyrics. Hold on a second, because I just love this. From the ashes and the dust, we will rise, we'll all stand up. With hope in our eyes, we'll grow on. I mean, this is so cool. Now, David, tell us about some of the artists, you know, that I love, not only the just like diversity of people, but the types of people and the style of the people and the ages of the people. Like, you know, tell us about how this group came together.
Yeah, so Be Free and on the Radio Milwaukee team and Kenita Hickman on our team really wanted to put together a video that really looked and felt like Milwaukee. And I think they did an incredible job at making that happen. We were also able to partner with the downtown bid to incorporate the mural activation that's happening right now at MacArthur Square. And Ken Brown, who's doing that mural, that incredible mural that is 620 linear feet that celebrates the everyday heroes, again, in our city, helping us through COVID-19. It was just such an incredible opportunity to highlight an incredible artist who's doing a landmark piece that, when you really think about what that piece means to our city, it connects the Milwaukee Public Museum to the south, to the police station at the north. And then when you look at it coming up Kilbourne, right, it basically looks like it's undergirding the civic infrastructure of our city. So you have the everyday heroes basically holding up the courthouse, which is exactly what it is, right? And I think that's just so incredible. And I would be remiss too if I didn't shout out Sam Regani, who shot the video for us, who shot and directed the video for us. All of that incredible protest footage, the footage of the mural, the footage of at the rooftop of Radio Milwaukee was all done in a safe, socially distant, physically distant way, but also just incredibly beautiful. And lastly, have to shout out Ray Nitty, who contributed the rap break in the middle of the song.
Wow.
Which some of the challenges that our city still is working through, and the policy questions that we still have about what our city is, how it's inclusive, and particularly now, I think, as we think about, as Kevin and Marty noted, some of the challenges that artists and creators are continuing to face during COVID-19. What are the policy responses to ensure that our city's incredible tapestry of artists and creatives are able to survive through this moment?
It's so cool. I love that moment in the video. I got breaking news for you, Kevin. I know you probably assumed this about me, but I'm no rap star. But
that's not what we heard.
But I do love what he was saying in that part of the video. One, Milwaukee black and brown, so please change policy. Milwaukee, let's work on ending poverty. So I love that in the song, during that moment, these critical issues that we're all facing right now are said in such a like beautiful way in all manners, like the setting of it, the person, the artist, the every, you know, the phrasing. It really is beautiful. And the other thing that I was reading about the purpose of this project, and the song specifically, the song's overreaching message is one of hope and togetherness in the face of uncertainty. And I think, Kevin, maybe tell us a little bit, what has the response been like? What have you heard in response to this video?
We are a resilient city. You know, Milwaukee is phenomenal for so many reasons. Obviously, we are all champions of the city that we're living in right now on the broadcast, and we know that that feeling of togetherness and resilience is woven into the fabric of who we are as people. The call to action that we were thinking about as we were kind of brainstorming through the entire project was, how can we make the impact very real and tangible? We came up with a virtual tip jar, which allows people to go to imaginemke.org and help the musicians and the creatives and the video people that put their time and effort into trying through their creativity to lift up the city in feeling that sense of togetherness. And the other call to action, which is super important, it's along the lines of what Save Our Stages is going through, and NEVA, the organization for independent venues across America, which is also very important. But what we thought is also on imaginemke.org, you can sign petitions to help not only the state but federal government put ideas in place to help creatives specifically in times like this. There's always more that can be done, especially when we band together to have our voices heard.
Right. I love that. David, you had something to add?
Yeah, so I just wanted to build on that just a second to sort of pull in what you had said earlier about small businesses, David.
Right.
That, like, I think it's important to remember that our city's artists and creatives are all entrepreneurs and small business owners, right? They take on incredible risk to do a thing that maybe a few folks have maybe invested in, maybe not, right? And they're putting their work out there for the market to engage in. And right now they have no place to do their work, right? Because of the challenges with regard to COVID-19, the public health response as it relates to COVID-19. And so really thinking about our city's network of artists and creatives as small business entrepreneurs, I think is just incredibly important right now, because that's what they are.
It really is. And you mentioned the tip jar. I put up for viewers that website where I believe you can go and help to fundraise. I know you guys have raised thousands of dollars already, and that is for the local artists that are involved in the project. So anything that people give to the tip jar is helping the artists that were involved.
100% of every dollar that's donated is going to be split amongst the artists. There's no part of that goes either to Radio Milwaukee or to us. It comes through, we're raising money until the end of August. And once that happens, we're splitting it amongst all the artists who contributed to the song and the video.
Wow, I'm going to be going on there today, and I want people to get on there, imaginemke.org/strong, so that we can all add to the tip jar. It's so important, and I can't wait to hear. I know that people are going to come through big, so I can't wait to hear when you announce that dollar amount so we can help each other and be together during this. I want to just quickly mention before we go about that mural one more time, because I love this aspect of it, but I believe it's titled The Hero in You, and it is by artist Ken Brown. And like you said, people can find it at MacArthur Square parking garage. And you know what I thought was so amazing? I mean, we see it in the picture that I showed earlier, but it is 620 feet long and 5 feet high. I was watching you guys like prime it, and everybody, I'm like, my God, how many gallons? Crazy.
It is incredible, and we helped a little bit with the priming, and for anybody who sees it, there are a number of different Easter eggs throughout. I mean, with all that space, Ken has really been able to sort of put his vision and some secrets in there. And I don't think I'm speaking out of school when I say that I've actually painted a touch of that mural, which for me is such a treat to have like a couple of paint strokes of mine on that incredible mural. Is just fabulous.
I'm not supposed to say this out loud, but I was asked to cover up some of the area that David. So I don't mean to. I don't mean to ruin it for you. I'm teasing completely.
Kevin, so cool. We weren't going to rumble on this show, right? I thought we made that agreement.
You did.
Oh man. Well, guys, I'm telling you, it is so cool to be a part of now what will be a live-on time and project for our city. What you and the other organizations and community members have done together to contribute to our well-being and good feeling is just spectacular. I'm so obsessed with it and I'm so happy about it that I just want to like put it in my car, open the sunroof, like turn up the volume super loud and be like, hey, everybody, listen. Because, you know, there is a sense of me that feels like there's neighborhoods that we should crank that up and drive through them on full blast and just give people a lift. Now, if you're going to take that idea, I want to be involved. So, but I do think people need to hear it. So I want people to enjoy this video. And I'm so glad that you guys came on today to talk about it. You know, and like it said in that song, hand in hand, you and me, working together like a family. Together we stand through it all, hand in hand. Yes, these lyrics, you've got to just listen. We are the good land, Milwaukee strong. Yes. So thank you guys. It's such a treat to have you, and what you've done, it's just uplifting and everybody needs it.
We appreciate you helping spread the message. We really do.
My pleasure. So I'm gonna say goodbye to you guys, but I'm gonna go dance a little bit more and listen. So everybody, get on that tip jar. David, Kevin, a pleasure. Take good care, and I will chat with you guys soon. Thanks for joining us.
Take care.
So much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, thanks you guys. This was so much fun today with Marty Brooks, David, and Kevin. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. Thank you so much. And again, make sure next Wednesday, 9 a.m., same place. Get a little technical glitches worked out before then. But grab your coffee and join me for an awesome conversation with Carmen Petrie, Sojourner Family Peace Center, and some special guests that are going to be revealed soon. So thanks, everybody. Make it a great day and be Milwaukee strong. Yes. Bye-bye.